This is a segment of a chapter after the one I just read. This is from when Ellie visits the home where she grew up in with her brother, where her mother, her father, and some found family called Arthur, an old queer man, lives. It's hard to explain the context of Arthur in this story, but he's a very lovable character. I didn't shower, just changed into an old fishing sweater, bought almost 15 years before. The elasticity had gone, and it hung straight across my hips. Hung from the neckline, too. Joe used to say it was my comfort. Maybe he was right. It felt coarse and rustic after the cut cottons of summer. It felt defiant, as if winter was within reach. Arthur was at the breakfast table when I came down, and he was listening to his pocket radio, a single wire dangling from his left ear. The other two had left a note. Gone to Tahoe Mills to buy paint. Buy paint? I didn't know whether to be glad or not. It was a start, was all I kept thinking. Something they were doing together. Coffee, Arthur? I said, as I pulled apart a croissant. No, I'm fine, dear. Had 3 already, and I've got palpitations. Better not, then. That's what I thought. I bent down, and Nelson came towards me. I nuzzled him, rubbed behind his ears, and gave him a piece of the pastry, which he tried to refuse, but couldn't. He tried so hard to be conscientious, but we as a family had ruined him. From the day he arrived, earnest and full of intention, all we ever saw was the prettiest of souls and treated him as such, until his single-mindedness turned into flighty, everyday distraction. And as I rubbed his belly, the sleekness was now replaced by rotundity, for he had become the receptacle of my parents' grief, and ate whatever was offered, preventing them from feeding their own gnawing heartache. I brought my coffee to the table and sat down. It's so quiet here, without you all, he said, turning off the radio. Your absence has made me old. I reached over and held his hand. I can't believe all this. I thought I'd left such violence behind. And he took out his neatly pressed handkerchief and quietly blew his nose. I'm ready now, Ellie, ready to depart. The fear has gone, together with my desire for life. I'm so tired now, tired of saying goodbye to those I love. I'm so sorry, my darling. I kissed his hand. There's a new family of herons on the river, I believe. Dad heard them the other day. The young should be ready to leave soon. How about we go and find them? He squeezed my hand. I'd like that, he said, and I finished the last of my coffee and dropped the remainder of my croissant into Nelson's grateful mouth. A brisk wind blew up in the valley, carrying occasional rain and the smell of salt, and the water chopped and slapped at the sides of the boat as Arthur yelled in delight. Nelson stood at the bow like a figurehead until a flock of Canada geese startled him as they unexpectedly took flight, and he jumped down and hid behind Arthur's warm, spindly legs. I turned off the engine and paddled along the riverbank in search of the large nest the herons always built at water level along this stretch. We hid under overhanging branches and paused to listen to distinct river sounds, and as we beached momentarily on a shingled self, the leathery greens and the grey greens and the black greens of water growth surrounded us and merged with the dark front that suddenly rolled up the river like thick, dark smoke. I barely managed to pull the heavy tarpaulin over us before the first of the lightning flashed and the sleeting rain fell. Oh, I see it all, shouted Arthur as he staggered out into the rain and lifted his face to the onslaught, squealing as the mad urgency of nature whipped his eager senses. The air rumbled with the cannon sound of thunder, and the lightning bounced from field to tree to field. Arthur, get back, I shouted as he fell close to the side. Again thunder and lightning triumphed. The splintering sound of fractured wood tore through the valley, the loud thump of rain as it hit the river's surface before being enveloped by the rising mass. Nelson shook behind Arthur's legs, and again Arthur shouted out into the storm and railed at the loss of his boy, his hallowed gentle boy he'd feel and know no more. I didn't hear my phone ring, not the first time, the thunderous noise maybe, or the inconsistent signal that faltered during storms. But as the storm moved over and left us with the feeble spray of sunlit rain, that's when I heard it, the ring suddenly echoing amidst the quiet exhaustion of the scarred river valley. Ellie, the voice said. Charlie? Ellie, they found him. The moment I'd waited for, I held my stomach, my legs suddenly shaking. I reached for Arthur's hand. What had they found? What thing had they found that they had declared him? And if they could read my and as if he could read my silence, he quickly said, "No, Ellie, they found him. He's alive."